When I was doing my master's, I have this really great professor, Dr. Bob, and he was a teacher years ago on the Navajo reservation and had offered a course that was a Navajo exchange. So he brought 8 of us in a van throughout the Southwest, and we toured a variety of different Navajo schools, both on the reservation and then schools that were off the reservation, and got to stay with families and have these really amazing experiences. One of the things that we found really interesting was how much of their education is tied to the culture of being Navajo. The students take language courses, so they learn the Navajo language, which was, when I tried to do it, was really difficult. I definitely was not able to speak it. So it was nice that they have that as part of their curriculum to keep that culture alive. And they also learn about the history of their people, of the stories, of the legends, of what it means to be Dene, and how that kind of relates to being a Navajo kid growing up today. When I moved back to New York from Arizona, the school I was at didn't have a lot of technology in Arizona. The school I moved into in New York is one of the forerunners of having really great educational technology. The classroom I was in at my school now had an old smartboard that was being replaced and phased out. So since mine was the oldest, I got the newest. And I was the first one to have a clear touchboard in my classroom, and it came with the Snowflake technology embedded into it. Once it was district-wide, my EdTech specialist had some really great professional development, brought us in over the summer, showed us how to use it, how to navigate the board. I immediately started changing a lot of my lesson designs to incorporate it more regularly, finding out how to use lessons online as part of Snowflake and how that could be used, and how I could push that out to my classroom so that it could be individualized for each student to complete a task. Each lesson does have a different effect with each group of students. They all react to it very differently. The one that is currently their favorite we've been using for our brain breaks in the classroom. So I don't believe in sitting for the entire 40 minutes. I can't do it. I don't expect a small child to be able to do that. I always try to get them up in some way. And if I can't incorporate that just in moving, which is one of the beauties of using Snowflake, is the kids have to get up and go touch the board. So that's a nice break. A lot of neuroscience says that kids can only take in so much information at a time before they kind of shut down and they don't retain it. And so lessons need to be designed in a way that allows for them to have transitions between activities and a chance to digest the information and recall the information before moving on to the next thing. I've built a lesson where we use 2 zones. One zone has a spinner with numbers 1 through 10, and then the other zone has cards. The flip side of the card reveals a different exercise that the kids have to do. They take turns. We usually do, I tell them we're doing a tic-tac-toe. So they have to do 3 horizontal, 3 vertical, or 3 diagonal. They take turns. One person will come up, spin the wheel to pick the number. One person will come up to pick the card. And then they lead the class in whatever that exercise is. So if it's 10 jumping jacks, those 2 will lead the class and count off for the class as we do it. Or if it's 3 squat jumps or whatever the exercise is, they've all been really good about doing it. And being able to set it to random is nice because then they can never pick the same ones every class. They're definitely a lot more engaged. They're ready to refocus again. They've had that moment to whatever energy had been building up while they were sitting in their chairs. They have that 2.5, 3 minute break to let it go and release it. And then also just get that oxygen flowing back into their body so that they're ready to learn again. And they also know when to expect it. I always show our agenda of what we're doing for the day. And I tell them, okay, after we've done this activity or this portion of our lesson, this is our brain break, and then we're going on to this. So they can kind of prepare themselves for it, knowing, okay, I'm really restless, I'm really squirmy, I'm ready to go, but I gotta just finish this task first, and then I get to get all that energy out. Working with our team at NUITEQ has been really wonderful. Everyone on the team, as educators, they know how to deliver really good lessons, and they know the work that goes into creating a really good lesson. So they automatically have that, for me, that credibility of these are my people. They know what they're doing. And it's nice working with them. We do a lot of conferences remotely through using our phone apps and being able to communicate with one another, providing feedback for one another with how our lessons are going. What I see with them is I see this platform of really amazing, really creative, inspiring teachers And when I look at the lessons they're creating and I see how wonderful they are, it sets the bar high for myself. It makes me want to make my lessons even better. It makes me want to be like, I want to be as good as what they're doing, which, you know, is great for me on a personal level, but the bigger picture is it's great for my students. It's great for the people who are using this technology because I've set my standards higher because they have such high standards. So as a result, hopefully the standards are high for my kids and for any of the students who are going to be using it. As far as designing the lessons, they are really good about making them visually appealing. I think that that's a big component to making something interesting, especially for kids, is they don't want to look at something that's boring. They want to look at something that is bright and stimulating and makes them feel creative and inspired. So the amount of like sheer effort and energy and time that goes into creating these lessons that are beautifully done and that have great themes and great descriptions and great videos attached to it makes it just such a better resource than things that I would be designing maybe outside of this particular app. When we're doing lessons, right now my 6th graders are studying ancient China. We just began this unit. So every time we're doing a lesson with Snowflake, I make sure that we have a really cool, interesting background of something they haven't seen related to China. If we could tie it into, next week we'll be studying the terracotta warriors, so I have a lesson designed for that. And hopefully, you know, they get excited before the lesson even begins because they're seeing this really cool graphic to start it off, to make them kind of start thinking about like, oh, what are we learning today? What is this?
I think we've learned a lot, you know, from you, and I really appreciate your experience, you know, and our goal, content made by teachers for teachers, and so really getting to know you a little bit more has been awesome, you know,
great,
and learning a little bit about your experience and your passions. Once again, I really thank you for joining the team and for being a part of this.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes.
I really enjoy being part of the team.